Thursday, February the 22nd, 2018, to you. Like my previous letter, this one will be about a country which desperately needs to be rebuilt, Venezuela. Before anything else, I never thought that a Chavista regime would persist all these years. Needless to say, that is not Venezuelan people's fault. President Mr. Nicolás Maduro would not last 5 minutes in office were it not for the army. Excuse me, I meant the army generals. Chavismo turned into a militarist ideology. Just like Sting would say, I hope that Venezuelan soldiers love their children too. In the meantime, economic prospects for Venezuela are bleak. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, forecast a negative GDP growth, a decline of 15% and a staggering inflation rate of 13,000% for this year. Even more dramatically, Venezuelans are fleeing the country. According to immigration experts, Dr. Thomas Paez, Central University of Venezuela, 1,200,000 Venezuelans have left their home country for the last 2 years. In addition, 37,000 people are crossing the border with Venezuela each day. Yesterday, Colombia's Foreign Affairs Minister, Mrs. Maria Angela Holguin, met with her Brazilian counterpart, Mr. Aloysio Nunes, in Brasilia. Both Bogota and Brasilia pledged not to close their borders with Venezuela. It is worth to mention that this ongoing situation is utterly new not only for Venezuela but also for Latin America. The region has never had a refugee crisis like this one before. Indeed, you can compare what is happening in Venezuela with the current situation in Syria or Myanmar. Last month, Venezuelan economist Mr. Ricardo Hausmann suggested an international military intervention in that South American country. Personally, I believe that such an intervention is getting more likely not because of Venezuela's internal situation, but due to the risk that a Chavista regime is posing for Latin American collective security. That said, I also believe that any intervention must be done by Latin American soldiers instead of US troops. Let me put things this way. If either Colombian or Brazilian troops were the ones which entered in, say, Maracaibo or Carabobo, they would be welcome as liberators. I could not say the same about Americans. The last occasion wherein South America undertook a collective military task was when Peru got its independence in 1821. Let us hope that the region may be undoubted by that fact. Sometimes asking who does the job is as much as important as what to do and how. The world is still on.